I'm out here on the range, and I thought I'd do a review of the MMP FPC. I think that's what it's called. Yeah, folding pistol carbine in 9mm. I did a video recently about why would anyone want a PCC or an FPC, and you know, after I did that video, I went out and started shooting the Kel-Tec Sub 2000 that I have, and realized that it was just a ton of fun. And that's one of the main reasons that I think that anyone would want one of these, is they're just super fun, and or to use inside your home for home defense. One of the viewers actually said that they use their Ruger pistol caliber carbine for farm or livestock protection, and I can kind of see that. Anywhere that's a good idea. Anywhere up close around the barn, for instance, where you might have raccoons or foxes trying to snatch chickens, ducks, whatever, that makes a lot of sense. I don't think that I can't use it here for coyote control because the place is so big. Coyotes will be 100 yards away, 200 yards away in the dark, snatching calves. So for that, my choice is, while this will certainly kill a coyote, my choice is a 5.56 with a night vision scope on it, or AR-10 with a night vision setup on it, which is what I currently use, one of those two. But then yesterday we were feeding, me and my son, who's 12 at this point, we were feeding up the deer, right? Like checking the deer feeders or the bear feeders, because the bears eat most of the food sometimes. And we just kind of pulled over and pulled this thing out and started shooting at some cans, right? And I started thinking that that's another good reason for these, is to get youth into shooting, right? So he's not super big right now. He's a young kid, and larger guns might intimidate or scare him. This doesn't have any recoil, with a good set of electronic earmuffs on. Noise is completely manageable, and while I wish this had an adjustable stock so it could be shortened a little bit, it did fit him well enough, and he was able at 25 yards to actually shoot this pretty well with this dot, which is why I have this dot mounted so low, because he's small and I wanted to make sure he could see through this dot, right? But got him out of the house, got him off the, it's hot out here today, got him out of the house, got him off the computer, tablet, video game machines, kind of unplugged for a little bit, and so we used it to talk, right? So that's another thing that this can be used for. Get your kids outside, get them unplugged. They're gonna have plenty of time to have that pocket computer stuck to them all day long, flashing at them and telling them bad news and worrying them about their businesses or work or whatever, right? So they'll have plenty of time for that. So this will get them unplugged, get them out shooting, get them away so that us as parents can talk to them, right? So that's another good thing for this. I'd like to add that to the list. So what do I think about this as an actual pistol caliber carbine? So like I said, I wish that the stock would adjust. It doesn't. I like this where it holds the magazines here. It holds 2 additional magazines, but it's backwards, so if you have to push this side to pull this magazine out and push the other side to pull this magazine out. They are standard Smith Wesson magazines. I think they're 20 or 21 round magazines. I don't really know. I haven't used them yet, but they're standard Smith Wesson magazines. Comes with a standard 17 round Smith Wesson magazine. It's got these funny sleeves on it here, I guess, to fill the gap. That's also standard Smith & Wesson, right? It does fold pretty easy. There's a latch right here. You just push that latch up and fold it. And then there's a notch here. You kind of pull your charging handle back a little bit and fit this in, and it locks up, right? And it won't fire when it's broke down. And then you just kind of pull this back a little bit, slide it out. And I imagine you can just force it, but this is plastic, and this is also plastic or polymer, right? So I imagine it'll wear out if you keep just framming on it, pushing it back and forth. So pull it out a little bit. It does have last round hold open, and this charging handle. When I first got this charging handle, I actually had a hard time pulling it back on one side or the other. Had to use two hands, but put some oil along the rail here, and there's a little latch. So if yours is stuck, there's a little latch right here. I put some oil on there too so that it slides off of that a little easier. And now I can pull it back easy with one hand, from either side really. So it does have last round bolt hole open. It's a blowback design, so should be pretty, you know, inertia driven or whatever. It should be pretty reliable. And let's see what else is on this. Oh, there's, like on a normal M&P, there's your bolt release on this side or on this side, and I don't like it, right? So no matter how much I don't know if mine's broke or just really difficult to get to, but I can't push it on either side with much success. It's so recessed, it doesn't even stick out. And this side is in the catch, so I'm not really even gonna, I don't think pushing that is a good idea because your finger, your gloves or whatever might get stuck. So just kind of release it like I do a regular AR. You know, when round in it or loosen up the magazine, pull it back and it'll go forward. The trigger is pretty decent, I guess. It feels like a regular handgun trigger from, I've got the Smith Wesson 10mm, and this feels kind of like it a little bit. Gets to the wall, breaks. It's not that heavy actually, so I'm thinking maybe it's 4 or 5 pounds, 5 pounds probably. So easy to pull, especially for a little one. The Kel-Tec is a lot harder to pull. So now how does it shoot? It was 100% reliable yesterday when we were shooting it. Oh, it's got a muzzle device, a threaded barrel, right? This keeps coming loose for some reason. So make sure if you get this that you tighten it up so that you don't, if you keep shooting and you don't check this every now and then, I don't know, if it gets loose enough, it seems like a round would just blow this off eventually, I don't know. So I keep making sure that's tight. This is pretty light, but it's not as light as the Kel-Tec. So I guess while I'm out here, I have the Kel-Tec in this bag too. I brought this. So, oh, this one, just the M&P doesn't come with any sights whatsoever. So you're gonna have to get an optic. So the M&P, I just bought the M&P, and it is, I bought it for like $675 from the gun store, and then had to add on an optic, and I added this hollow sun on. This was $230. So just because this is kind of cheap at $675 or whatever it was, there's no sights. So you're gonna have to come up with a sighting solution, and basically it cost me an extra $230 to put the hollow sun on it, which is fine. But overall, if you take that into account, this isn't really that cheap because you just can't buy it and go shoot it. You have to still get some sort of sighting option. The rail, I don't think this barrel is free floated, which doesn't matter at the distance that you're going to shoot this at. I don't think that matters at all. But it looks like it's hooked right there, and right there. One, two, actually every M-lock link, the barrel looks like it's running through a piece of plastic or something that's actually holding it in there. So I don't believe this to be free floated. Again, it doesn't matter. And this seemed to be pretty accurate yesterday. So we'll test it here in a minute. We'll actually do some shooting with it. But comparing this to the Kel-Tec, and the Kel-Tec unhooks, folds end over end. So you can't really put an optic on there and fold it up unless you get this additional attachment that lets the optic go to the side. And I haven't gotten that because, to be honest, we'll unfold it and look at it. So you pull this little latch back, and the Kel-Tec folds forward. This is way lighter. It's also not loaded or anything, but anyway, this is way lighter than the M&P. The M&P's stock isn't adjustable. The Kel-Tec actually has 3 adjustment holes here in the stock, so you can kind of adjust it a little bit, right? The Kel-Tec comes with sights. Now, they're not the greatest sights in the world. They're irons, but I mean, they work. The other reason that I took out the M&P for my son to shoot is because it's just way easier for someone learning how to shoot to use that dot than have to line up, you know, these cheesy iron sights, right? So that was just easier, and I wanted to boost his confidence while he was shooting, and it did, because I could see while he was using it, once he learned how to line up the dot, and we talked about how to stay target focused and all that, he started making actual hits at 25, 28 yards on the cans that we were shooting, right? Which I think is pretty good. I mean, the can is what, the size of your hand, so 25, 28 yards. You know, he was hitting the cans with the M&P. That's pretty good, right? Another suggestion: if you are going to hand this to a new shooter, only put 1 bullet in it, right? So that there's no possibility when they're handing it back to you, or after the first round goes off, that they pull the trigger again and send another round downrange, or not downrange, unfortunately, right? So just a pro tip: put 1 round in it so that there's no possible way that they can fire a second round unintentionally. So with the Kel-Tec, it also has a rail where you can attach your lights and lasers, but it has a rail on the bottom as well. It has M-lock on the sides, right? So you can attach any kind of M-lock things to the side that you might want to attach to it. I might put a light on this one because I was thinking about having this for home defense, but that'll be about it. A light on the bottom. This does not have last round hold open. If you want to lock it back, you have to pull this back and put it in this little notch. And when you shoot this actually reciprocates, which is the other reason I handed him this instead of this, because the M&P, the charging handle, doesn't reciprocate with the bolt. Like an AR-15, it just stays still, so it wasn't going to hit him in the face or anything like that, or in the forearm with this, right, if he was kind of wasn't holding it correctly. So that's another point for the M&P. The Kel-Tec takes Glock mags. The magazines that come with this are P-mags. They're not actual Glock magazines. You can't see that they don't have the holes in the back like a regular Glock magazine does. But I got a bunch of Gen 5 G17 magazines that fit in here just fine, and they do have the Glock magazines are better than these P-mags, right? Have one in. I don't know where I put it. There. This is an actual Glock magazine for a Gen 5 Glock 17. It's 17 rounds. You have it's got the steel inside, or the metal inside. It feels a lot better, and it's got the open hole so you can see your rounds, how many rounds you have in there, whereas this one, I don't even know if there's a metal sleeve in this P-mag where there is in this Glock magazine. So this is a way better magazine. These are cheap too, so, and if you already got a Glock, it'll take Gen 4 mags too. It doesn't have to be the new dual-sided lockback bolt hole open Gen 5 mags, right? It doesn't have to be those. It'll take older versions of the Glock magazines as well. I just happen to have Gen 5 17, so I have these mags, and they're cheap. What else about the Kel-Tec? Like I said, it comes with the sights. There's an attachment that you can hook to right here, where if you did want to put a red dot on, the red dot would slide to the side. You could fold it and lock it. And that's kind of neat. I'm not sure if I'm going to do that or not. The trigger on this is way heavier, and it just feels clunky. It just feels clunky. That's my take on the trigger. Is that this is a clunky ass trigger, and not sure that a little shooter can pull this back or not. For me, it's fine, but it is a clunky trigger. it's also, and I haven't taken this apart yet, but I think the trigger linkage in here, from what I understand, is polymer, whereas there's more metal in the trigger linkage on the MMP, so the MMP's probably got higher quality and it'll last longer. Looks wise, the Kel-Tec does look neat. To break it down, you just push this forward, the trigger guard forward, and then it just folds right up. So, and again, it won't fire when it's folded up, so perfectly safe. In fact, I think if you have a round in there and you tried to fold it up, it either wouldn't fold or the round would just fall out on the ground, because there's you can see the ramp inside the barrel, so it would just probably fall out, the feed ramp. So that's the sub 2000 compared. Folded up, they're about the same size. If I had to pick between the two of these, I like the way this looks. I like the fact that you get iron sights with it out of the box. You don't have to go and buy. It's also got a threaded muzzle protector, which is also coming loose, so make sure you tighten this down. Unless you have a can on it, right? Make sure you tighten this down. I like the way this looks. I don't need an optic on a gun that's going to shoot this close, really and truthfully, for me. So for me, I don't know, for home defense, the Kel-Tec is way cheaper. It was $400 and something. So there's a big difference, a couple $100 difference in price. Plus, if you factor in that you have to have another optic, and that's going to cost you probably $200 to get a, you know, entry-level optic, which that's a different video. But this Hollow Sun, which was like $230, I need to compare that to like the Trijicon MRO Patrol that I have, because that's a $700-800 optic or something like that, and I don't know why. I don't see what the extra $500 is for, to be honest with you. I'll do a comparison and then let the people that watch the video decide here eventually. So I would pick this for home defense for me. Crossbolt, they both have crossbolt safeties, you know. The Kel-Tec's crossbolt safety is up by your thumb, like a regular AR-15 safety would be, right? This one is in front of the trigger guard, where you would put where they are on like shotguns and stuff, on some shotguns. So to reactivate that one, you're going to have to use your other hand probably, or reach around, whereas this one you can just kind of push. So but build quality wise, if I was trying to get something for, you know, if I was going to buy one of the two of these and I didn't really care about the extra couple $100, this is built better. It just is. This feels more solid. I like the fact that the charging handle doesn't reciprocate. I like the last round hold open, even if I can't actuate the slide release. I like the way that it folds better. I don't know. This is a better built firearm. I like the trigger on this is night and day compared to the trigger on the Kel-Tec. So if I was only going to get one of these and it was going to double for other things besides just a home defense weapon sitting in the corner, and didn't care about a couple extra $100, I would get this one. For me, for what I'm using it for, block mags and just around the house, and for me to blink, this is I like the way this looks. This just looks way cooler. So second kind of cool or whatever. Maybe not as functional, but I like it. Trigger sucks. All right, so I'm gonna take the MMP and set up a target and shoot a few rounds and let you see how accurate it is. Let you see the bolt hole back open. And then I'll probably do the same thing with the sub 2000, so you can see that one as well. All right, so hold on while I go ahead and set up the targets. Okay, I've already charged it, and I've got the regular 17 round magazine in it. You can see that even with my hands, and I don't have huge hands, but I still get a full grip on the firearm. I have the stock back straps in this. That's something else that this does do. Just like the regular M&P pistols, it comes with additional back straps, and it's pretty easy. You just twist this notch, pull the pin out, take the back strap off, put a new back strap on, put the pin back in, just like all the other pistols, right? So, all right, I'm gonna go ahead and take a couple shots. I'll let you see from this angle first, so you can see it throwing the shells and how the cartridges and how what the trajectory is for it throwing the shells out. So lock back, that was 5 rounds. It locked back just fine. All right, so back at 25 yards, I'm gonna change the magazines. So drop this magazine. And to take these out, it's difficult for me to take this magazine out, the one on closest to my forearm. The one that I can take out easiest is the one closest here. So I just push this in, slide it out. The ammunition comes out upside down, so you have to turn it like that. There. Lock back again, empty. Put this magazine back. Okay, so I was wondering why it didn't seem to be stable. Turns out the red dot had worked its way loose. I guess I didn't tighten it down enough. So anyway, I had a Leatherman up there and I just tightened this down. And I put a new target up, and now I'm going to turn the camera. So back at 25 yards, I'm going to turn the camera at the target so you can see, you know, freehand at least, about how accurate this gun is after I've fired up about 100 rounds through it, because I shot it a bit off camera just to make sure that it was, you know, still sighted in or whatever. So I'm going to turn the camera towards the target and then fire a few more. Oh yeah, who doesn't want to see how fast this shoots, right? So now I'm going to fire a few at 50 yards, but I'm going to fire these supported off of my bag. So at 50, that's my group at 50, so it's high and right, but to be honest, I could barely see the target from 50 yards away without a magnifier with my eyes, so I don't think that's too bad. At least it looks like it's pretty repeatable. So I'm going to wrap this up. Besides the hollow sun coming loose, which I actually think was my fault because I don't think I tightened it down tight enough, and then just shooting it yesterday and then a few times today, probably just rocked it loose. I will watch this. Look at that. This comes loose every time I shoot this. So every time you fire rounds out of this, you need to tighten this back down, your thread protector. So overall, for what it is, I like this rifle. Only time's going to tell if it actually holds up or if it comes apart. It seems decently made, but there's a lot of plastic on this rifle. So if you have one of these and you put a ton of rounds through it, why don't you leave me a comment and let me know how you like yours. And I will probably do a review on this red dot, comparing this to the Trijicon MRO that I have on an AR-15. But overall, seems to be this is a fun rifle to shoot, and for younger shooters, like I started the video out, I think this is a great alternative or a great way to get them outdoors and to get them involved in shooting and to get them to away from their electronics so that they'll talk to their parents, right? We can talk to them about other things besides just shooting while we're out there, right? So if you want to see a review that I'll do later of the Kel-Tec, shooting the Kel-Tec, please like and subscribe to my channel so that, and if you have any other suggestions about anything else that you want to review before hunting season, let me know, because once hunting season starts, a lot of these videos will probably, I'll probably do a lot of hunting videos, as well as some hunting rifle review, etc. videos. So thanks everybody, have a good day.